What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Anthony will join in a few. He caught up with something, but he will join in a few minutes. So we will discuss. Excuse me. We will discuss the Inter game, like Inter, Serie A, and all those things. Anthony will join in a couple of minutes, in about 5 minutes. Um, let's fill up the time by talking about a little bit about Fajoli before Anthony comes in. Um, the Fajoli situation. So really quickly, because to be completely honest on Fajoli, there isn't any much, like there's not much news. There's not, and for people joining in, Anthony will join in a couple of minutes. So stay tuned. The Fajoli one, there's no real news on Fajoli. It's, in my opinion, it's a lot of guessing, because you have reports from La Stampa saying basically Fajoli is not all in the clear, but he didn't bet on Juve. He didn't bet. He didn't bet on his own team, even when he wasn't playing. When he was playing, all those things. And then you have Gazzetta dello Sport and other sports, Corriere dello Sport, saying he did bet on his own team and all those things. So that's why I haven't tweeted out any news on Fajoli, because it's all guessing at this moment in time. I will tweet it out when we get real news, real official news, and all media outlets agree on the topic. It's not like transfer news when you can say, oh, it's fake. This cannot be fake. Like, it's a serious situation. This cannot be fake. So I can tweet out from I can tweet out from Corriere dello Sport. He will be suspended for 6 months. I can do that. I can tweet out he will be suspended for 3 years from Corriere dello Sport. I can say, you know what, he's going to get suspended for this season and preseason. He can be back at the start of next season from La Stampa. But what is the truth? We don't know. So that's why I said, you know what, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not going to tweet things because this is serious. I've seen Giovanni Albanese's articles, and they're disgusting, because he is valuing the clicks over, a kid's life, because he's writing certain things that you just can't write without any 100% facts. He's talking about family problems, in the past and all those things, and it's garbage journalism. You're a sport journalist. That's not what you should. You're a club watcher. That's not what you should be writing. He's doing that for obvious reasons, because he's working for an absolute trash newspaper. And he showed in the last 2 days, Giovanni Albanese, what type of person he is, what type of journalist he is. Like, he works for the clicks. He doesn't work for, the good of the job, basically. And, do not say certain things that can harm a player before knowing actually all the facts, he's so he's lucky so many are involved that that's the only reason why I think the punishments won't be that bad. It won't be that bad potentially because he's working with the authorities, basically. Excuse me for my voice. That's why it won't be that bad. I don't feel 1 ounce of regret. I don't feel sorry for Fajoli. Not at all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I feel sorry for a guy in a privileged position, earning a lot of money, making the most stupid decision you can make. Keep in mind, at the start of every football season, these players, and when I say these players, all players in Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, they get sat down and they get told you cannot gamble on your own team, on your own sport, your own league, all those things. You cannot do that. Every single season, they get told. If you still think it's a good idea to do that, and not only do that, but also on an illegal website, I don't know what to tell you. I don't feel sorry. I don't care. Does it affect our season? Yes, because not that he was playing much and was playing well, but like, it's a player less. So it does affect, because you have Pogba doing stupid stuff as well. So you're losing 2 players, and now it's an issue. Like, it's an issue. It's 100% an issue now that you're losing players, and it's only October, so you cannot just say I'm gonna buy players today or tomorrow. You need to wait a couple of months, basically. Um, excuse me. So I don't feel sorry for these guys. It's their own fault, and if they mess up their career, it's their issue. Like, the only regret I have, as I said, it's not on Allegri, unless the club knew about it, which they put out a statement and they said we had no clue as a club, and when we knew, we went to the authorities and we told everybody, we told the authorities there is a situation here. That's one. So I don't feel sorry for him one bit. You made that decision to mess up your career or potentially mess up your career, then that's on you. That's not on me. That's not on Allegri. That's on anyone. It's you who made that decision. And you know what? I couldn't care less in terms of, his career could be, stumbled. I will try to bring in Anthony now. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me? No, you cannot hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, I will bring Anthony in now. If everybody gives me 1 sec. Where? No issue. I'm live. I will bring you in now, and you should be on screen in about 2 seconds. Oh, you're in. You're in the wrong position. So let me. Yeah, you're in.
Great.
So I'll start over. I was live. I was talking about Fagioli. We'll talk about that in a bit. Ooh, you're extremely big. I will try to fix that in a moment.
Yeah.
Here's Anthony. I don't think I need to introduce. I will introduce you. He's from Inter Worldwide. He has been on the channel, I think once. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing? On this fine, morning for you, evening for me.
I'm doing well now, man. I'm glad that I went out to my electrical box and got it sorted because I was like, crap, I really don't want to miss this because I've got a full day of extremely boring admin ahead of me, and this was the only thing that was going to break up my day. So it's good to be here. It's good to see you. I hope everything's going well on your end. Hope Belgium is nice. Hope things are doing very well, and I'm very much looking forward to speaking to you about Serie A, Inter, Juve, the national team. Whatever you're bringing to the table, my friend, it'll be an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody who's watching and all your lovely subscribers. Thank you for having a rival onto the show.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure. Personally good, but a few minutes there was some breaking news here in Brussels.
Okay.
There was a shooting incident. They shot 2 Swedish fans, and the game got cancelled. And the guy is still on
Oh,
the.
is that why it says interrupted on my app for the game against Sweden?
It's done. Yeah,
Damn, that's horrible.
the players are not
That's
playing
horrible.
anymore, and it's high alert in Brussels, and they're trying to catch him now. It's crazy, but it just broke the moment I hit live. I saw it, so I didn't really read into it. I will check in a minute.
Damn.
But we're gonna talk about obviously Juve, Inter, Serie A, because we haven't spoken. We haven't spoken since we did a live, and then the last live, I think, and then the following week the Lukaku news broke. That he wanted
Yeah.
to join Juve, and then we never did the live. So we will talk about that as well, especially for your sake, Lukaku wise. But let's start off with the obvious question. 8 games into the season or 7? I think it's 8, right?
Hey.
8 games.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you feeling? Because you're second. You're sitting. Excuse me. Second. I think 19 points, right? 7 wins, 1
Yep.
draw, 1 defeat. How is your overall feeling? Because I remember last time you said like you agree you need to win it, and you think Inzaghi will pull it off and they will win it. How's your feeling? Match day 8. overall feeling on your start of the season?
The start of the season was good. You know, you grind out a couple of games where you probably shouldn't win, but you do, and you have a couple of results. You know, your Fiorentina and your Milan, and you think to yourself, you know, it's looking good. You can stay fit. We shouldn't have too many issues, but then we drop points to Sassuolo at home. Then we drop points to Bologna at home. And I just think to myself, there really is no team to beat in Serie A this season. You're not going to see a side grab the league by the horns and run away with it. I think that you are going to see almost a good old fashioned classic struggle to the finish line between the three head honchos of the league, which would be nice because I don't think since I've been a teenager have we seen a season where us, you guys, and Milan really led the pack a little more than the rest. And that's not to say that there won't be a late charge or a surprise charge from Napoli or maybe somebody else. But at the moment, I see Serie A as a league in a whole continuing to struggle, continuing to go through adversity, as we've seen in the last week with the gambling stuff that's come out. And I think that there are going to be even more distractions in this league. And I think that what you're going to continue to see in Serie A is really good players stand out in their clubs, but not play in cohesive sides that are due to dominate a league. So I'm not feeling as confident as I was 3-4 weeks ago because we dropped points at home to Sassuolo, and I thought this isn't really the way a team behaves if they're going to win the league. In my experience in life, you have to be part of a different crop if you want to be champions. You need to be a team that constantly puts the sword to the throat. And even though it's still early in the season and there's still just as much of a chance of us winning it, you winning it, and anything, I can see the bad behaviors and the bad habits already creeping into this squad, who has already proven and been known to throw the towel in unnecessarily early if they're coming from behind. And this was 2 years ago under Inzaghi when he started, and a few key players in the locker room weren't happy after the first couple of months and voiced it. And then they had to come together and go, no, let's take collective responsibility and let's go for it again. And then last year, a group of players even went on to admit that after the Napoli win in January, we lost a couple of games in January after that. I think one to Empoli, and we had a 2-2 draw with Monza in the last 20 seconds. And then they admitted that the league was gone, so we gave up. And this is bad. This is bad news to bring out anytime, because then you've got fans like me that are like sort of waiting for the first slip up to come so that I can voice my pessimistic opinion and go, here we go again. Here we go again. The season is 38 games long, and I don't want this group of athletes to look like they're entitled to win it, because I do think that they can get like that sometimes. So, long story short, I don't feel. I'm not going to sit here and go. I'm not going to sit here and go Inter's going to win the Scudetto, because I think that's a stupid sentence to say. But I'm also not going to sit here and go my team can't win the Scudetto, because that's just as, if not more, stupid to say.
I think I think you're still gonna win it. Although you know what I think about Inzaghi. I just think not. I want to say by default. Maybe that's like a bit too disrespectful. But like you said, like it will be a season where I don't think anyone will just run away with it. You know, I don't
Yep.
think it will be like last season when just Napoli they ran away with it. You know, very simple. They cruised through the league basically, and it was done before before you actually realized it was actually done. I want to say, you lost to Sassuolo, it's bad, but so did we. I with Inter, because I've watched you and you picked up the points, but and this might be, I think, a positive for you personally. I don't think you played that well this far. You know, you play well in moments in games, you know, but overall, I think that team can, you know, go up a few gears. So I think that's a positive for you guys. I don't think, me personally, like for me, Juve, I don't think we can up. I don't think we have another gear. I think that this is just who we are. So that's completely different when I look at Inter. Milan, same thing. I think can go up a few gears if they actually gel. I think it's very early. They brought in quite a lot of new players. It needs time to gel. But I kind of agree with you. Like, there are moments where I'm like, when I watch Inter, I'm like, that feels like the things you should, you know, not do if you want the league, if you want to win the league, and things we've seen last season or prior to that. And maybe it's like I will say make it easy because it will boost my point. It stems down from Inzaghi. I think that's just who he is. I have a feeling when I look at Inzaghi and throughout his coaching career, I think he has moments where he loses a bit of control and it takes a bit too long before he regains control and he gets everybody, back in line. And then it's too late, when you're like, what just happened? I think that's just who he is. But because of the league and how it's going, Napoli, that's a strange situation, Napoli. You have your owner speaking very openly about moving on from the coach, but he hasn't done that, So,
No.
I don't even know Rudy Garcia going into the next game. How does he need to feel? Because he knows he's trying to replace me, but he hasn't found a replacement, so that's why I'm here. They lost Oshiman now for a good month. That's a big loss for them as well. So
Yeah.
it's still early.
It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse for them, I think, man.
It, you have the feeling like it's gonna get worse because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
toxic situation they like De Laurentiis created. He was
Yeah.
so public. You don't do that. That's what fans do. Like fans need to should do what De Laurentiis does. Like you're the
Yeah.
owner of the club. That's extremely weird. Like I'm gonna be honest. There are leaks out there that he spoke with Conte, like good leaks, and Conte said no.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's gonna work moving forward. But is Napoli basically the most disappointed team like so far? Where you're like, oh, this is not good. I was expecting much more.
You have to say by default that they're the most disappointing team so far. Because when you win the league, you have to back it up and you have to at least do something to make people believe that you're still there, even if you've lost something. Like, for example, when Inter lost Conte, Oriali, Pintus, and a cast of
Yeah,
thousands after, a couple of days after we won the Scudetto, we adjusted pretty quickly to Inzaghi's style of play and we went on a good run at the start of the league. We then ended up bombing it, obviously, but it was easy for Marotta to identify the replacement. And within a few days, within a few games, we could see that, okay, this is going to take some adjusting to, but you know what would have taken even more adjusting to? Anybody else but Simone Inzaghi. I truly believe that our decision was the right one when it came to replacing Conte, and we're sort of still seeing that now. I know Inzaghi's not going to set the world on fire, not yet anyway,
yeah,
but I think that he's still doing a great job and we could do a lot worse. Rudy Garcia's appointment, Ale, I didn't understand it, bro. I
same.
didn't understand it whatsoever. I think it's a big drop in man management. I think it's a big drop in experience with Serie A. I think the appointment of Spalletti ticked a lot of boxes, especially when you look at who the predecessors were.
Yeah,
You didn't want someone as technically anal as Carlo Ancelotti, but you couldn't have someone as void of direction as Gennaro Gattuso. You probably didn't want someone as calm as Carlo either. And thus walks in Lucky Luciano, pretty much the perfect little mix. And that's that Scudetto will go down as a fairy tale. But if you ask Napoli fans right now, maybe the slightly smarter ones and younger ones might say, yeah, well, fairy tale's not good enough anymore. We should be
I
carrying this on and doing a little bit more. But then again, it's Napoli, man. I can't speak for Napoli, their fans and their club. I just speak for Inter and how we feel. But I'm sure they're disgruntled. I'm sure the fans aren't happy. I'm sure the fans, just like the Inter fans after we won that season, and even probably just like Milan fans at the end of their Scudetto going into next season, we could have built harder, we could have built smarter, we could have carried on, and we could have dominated a little bit more. But once again, the benefit of the doubt goes to all the chasing clubs because we are now yeah, it's a league and it's going to be the best of the inconsistent bunch that finish on top.
yeah, I have the same feeling. Enzo saying Lazio. I didn't have any high expectations for Lazio, but they are underperforming. Obviously, they should
Yeah,
be doing, but they want. I don't know. They're very, very strange team. They're a very strange team. But going into the season, I didn't have any high expectations for Lazio. Same for Roma. So maybe that's not for me. Where I'm like, oh, that's extremely disappointing. They will get up there, but I didn't have any high expectations for them and Roma as well. Um, but let's get into before we go into like details and stuff. I thought in the summer I thought we had it. Lukaku stuff, I was like, wow, uh, what was that about? You know, I said he will score goals. I just don't like the idea of going into that
Yeah.
direction. You know, sell Vlahovic and build spend a lot of money on a 30-year-old. I'm like, we've done it. You
Mm.
know, stop doing it. We're not one striker away of winning. So I thought that's strange. I was like, good, we had it. Summer over, international break. One, Pogba doping. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, I was shocked, but I'm so numb
Dude,
about these
can I
things.
just interrupt? I was watching your updates every 6 hours, every 8 hours, and I was even thinking of you. Like, I remember waking up when the Bonucci thing broke, and I went, "Oh, again?" And then I
Oh,
just went YouTube, plugged you straight away.
I forgot about that. That was like the following week. Bonucci. I got
Yeah.
so numb to it. But when the Pogba news came, I was like, whatever. He's not playing anyway. Like he's been here a year. I have played more for my club basically. So I was like, whatever, you know. Then the Fagioli news comes out, and I'm like, what's happening? And then 2 days later, we get linked with serious links with a Bernardeschi return. I just I thought I left it all behind last season. You know, the points deduction, I think it's over with. You know, let's fresh slate, and then you have players. I don't know what they're thinking. Like I cannot explain. I cannot put it into words. What's crossing their mind? You know, with Pogba, you know what you're doing. You know, you can put out all excuses. Professional player, this cannot happen. Period. Same for Onana back at Ajax. He can say it's somebody slipped it into my drink. He said that at the time. Like I didn't know. They're not gonna buy it. Like they're absolutely not gonna buy it. You know. And Pogba admitted, you know, I did something. And then you have Fajoli doing this now, and like first, I don't feel sorry for these players at all. Not one bit. I don't care. Like Fajoli can be homegrown, loves the club, born in Turin. I couldn't care less. You know, you are in a privileged situation, making a lot of money. You're being pampered. Like everybody is like, oh my God, you're so amazing. From young age, you know, you're idolized and you know what you're doing because every year at the start of the season, Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, these players get set down and told you cannot gamble on games. Period. Every single season. That's
Yep.
just a fact. You can look it up. They get told. They get all set down and they get told this is a no go. You do that, screw you. Like I don't care. Like I'm actually, how do you want to say that? I'm pissed, but I also don't care. I'm pissed because we lost him and Pogba, and we're short of players very soon. You know, that's why
Yeah.
I'm pissed
You're,
off.
you're you're pissed at the impact it has on your club.
That's it. I'm not pissed that your career is in jeopardy because that's on you. Like it
Yep.
doesn't affect me at all. You know, that's your issue. If you're gonna get 3 months, 10 months, 3 years, 2 years, I don't know. We will see. That's on you. You know, that's on you. This club that I support at this moment in time is crazy. It's like I've been doing this channel for like a good 2 years and a half. I think a year and a
Yeah.
half. I talked about stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with football. I'm
Yep.
absolutely sick and tired of it. Finances,
Yep.
points deduction, doping, gambling. Bonucci, you know, I don't know what he took while he was speaking, and I was like, I'm done. You know, I'm extremely numb. International break, something else can come out. I wouldn't be shocked. Like I wouldn't be shocked at this moment in time. But let's start off with the first one, Pogba. What do you think about that? Because that came out of nowhere as well.
The Pogba situation is sad, but it's something that like you could really still see coming from a mile away. I mean, every time the guy did any sort of physical activity, there was something that bad that came from it. And I'm not talking, backing up to 90-minute games, even or
Yeah.
playing a 90-minute game in the league. The guy was rocking up to the training pitch and feeling something every single time. The guy is done at top level physically. There is no coming back from what he was going through whatsoever. I still don't know. I've done a lot of reading, but it's hard to believe who tells the truth these days. I do think that there was intentions there from Paul and his team
Yeah.
to get enough energy into those muscles to get enough minutes to secure another move. And I think that this was 50% of the motive. The other 50% is just that, I need to take this so I can play, whatever, so I can get paid, so I can be a Juventus player. But I think that there must have been a point in time, not too long after Paul came back, that he realized I'm not going to physically get back to this level. Allegri saw it. Everybody saw it. There was a part of me that believed that your club was involved in this strategic direction, because also that would have enabled them to choose when they could play Paul, in what minutes, in what games, in order to highlight his strengths and characteristics. Maybe they had every intention of saying, okay, Paul, you're going to come on in for 10-minute intervals, 15-minute intervals against some teams where the result is already packed and you're going to ball out. And what's going to happen is we are going to sell you. We are going to sell you to Saudi Arabia. We are going to sell you somewhere else. And then, you can go on and keep making your pay somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe that's just the spiteful Inter in me, thinking that your club had more of a role to play in this. But at the same time, it's all going to come down to the athlete. It's all going to come down to the athlete, especially when the athlete has consciously made the decision and admitted to making the decision. So I actually haven't checked the news on this for a few days. Where are we at with this at the moment, bro? Like, I know
Nobody
he
knows.
failed the I know he failed the
Yeah,
second test, which means like Juventus can stop paying him now until it's concluded.
they need to pay him the minimum wage. That's 2,000 euros. That's for legal reasons, and he's just waiting on the trial basically. And I think once it gets confirmed, I don't know what it will be, 1 year, 2 year, because he has 2 years left. Like, they cannot tear up the contract, because if he gets 1 year, let's say, you need to pay him, after that 1 year. So I think they're just waiting. If it's for the length of the contract, they will just find a way to say goodbye. It's done,
Yeah.
But there's actually no news. It's done. Like, he's not going to be a player for us anymore. That's for
Yeah,
sure. And it's
absolutely.
it's tough for the club as well, because if you sold him to the Saudi, you can recoup some money. Now it's done. Like, you're not gonna get anything back. That's what I'm thinking about, rather than I feel sorry. Like, I feel sorry for Pogba in terms of what it could have been, not on a personal level, because you made that decision. Like, I cannot feel sorry for that, but what it could have been, and what it has become basically, because this goes
Do
down
you,
as one of the worst transfers, and not because he flopped on the pitch. It's just off the pitch, and it's
do you do you put any blame, or a fair bit of blame, on your backroom staff and your managerial staff for going into this deal head on? I know getting him for free is good on paper when there's no digits, but
uh,
what was it, in between 10.5 to 12 million a season?
he's on 10. Uh, I When we signed him, I said no, buy Savage. I'm one of those guys when, like, Conte, like, he's almost on his knees, praying, begging to
Yeah,
get the job back.
yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of it's kind of sad at this moment in time what he's
It is
doing.
a little bit.
It's weird, and I said he will come if he comes back. Conte, he will turn this around. But I've said, and I cannot be a hypocrite, I don't want all things back. Same for Bonucci when he joined Milan. Same for Pogba, Allegri, Conte. Move on. When we were
Yeah,
linked with Pogba, I was like, get Savage. Get Savage. That's what we need. You wanted Savage.
yeah,
We need something new.
yeah.
Don't do the old stuff back. I'm just not a fan of it. Keane, I was like, what is this? Like, it's done. Rugani, De Chilio, you loan these players out, try to move them on, then they're back getting new deals. That's not how it should be working. So
Yeah.
when we were linked with Pogba, I was like, I loved it. I loved the player, but it was a no for me. Like, new things. I was confused when the news broke. I was like, how did the club miss that? How? Preseason tests, whatever, and apparently it doesn't show. Like, they need to take tests on certain substance, but it only for the club. It was only they only needed to do it after the Udinese game. So the Udinese game was the first time it actually occurred, and I think the club was very quick to react, saying, "Hey, this is not on us." Like, we had absolutely no clue what's happening. Pogba admitted, it was on him. He took something, in America from a friendly doctor. I don't know, something like that, and he said the club had no clue about it, which makes it, I won't say, like, it makes it worse in terms of, no, good, the club knew nothing about it, but worse, like, you didn't inform the club. Hey, I took this, because you're like, the reputation of the club, which is not good at this moment in time, but still, like, you go into games knowing I took something, like, I don't even know, like, I cannot explain it, because he knew if I got tested, I'm done. Like, I don't even know how he goes into games knowing, if I get tested, I'm done. Very strange situation. But it is what it is. I was over it day two.
Yeah,
I was over it. I was
yeah,
like,
I could tell.
he's not part of the club anyway. Like he's not playing, so
Yeah,
forget about it. Who is part of the club is Fajoli. Long term
yeah.
future. And he might just screw it up completely now. He might have because he's gonna get suspended. He's gonna be done for the season, most likely. I don't know for how long. I'm not gonna speculate on the like. I'm not even reporting news on Fajoli because what has been reporting is all over the place, and I don't think it's a topic to guess. It's not transfer news. You need to be right if you put out news, but he will be suspended. I think that's pretty obvious, and he could be done at the club in terms of the club is gonna buy players now because they have to because of you. Miretti is gonna play week in week out because of you. I think if he gets suspended for 10 months, preseason, next season, new players coming in, it's not looking good for him. On a
No.
professional level at the club, on a personal level as well. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Should I call him a guy who's addicted to gambling? I don't know. Could be. If you read the reports, it seems so. So I cannot speak on that. It's an illness. I cannot speak on that. But you still made that choice. You still made that choice at the get go. I cannot feel sorry for you, and you just need to take it on the chin, whatever's coming your way now. And same goes for Tonali and Zaniolo and whoever is involved. We still don't know about. Um, but what you explain it to me? Why would a player or any player who's earning good money, living the life, decide to do this on an illegal website?
So I was really excited to have this chat with you because I heard your reaction to it, and you were just saying exactly what I was saying in your typical much calmer voice than I. When I woke up in that morning, I was like, the reason I wasn't frowning on my face or cranky is because there were no Inter players directly named, and I could see Enzo in the chat going, wasn't Barella involved too? I'll just say this now. If one of my players is involved, I'll be the first Inter fan in the world to put my face in front of a camera and criticize them. However, I do want to point out that if there are no players that have been named so far,
Yeah.
we're about 6.5 days into this investigation. This is not something you can run from. If you're dirty, and it's obvious as well. So the one thing I will do to defend my team is to say, please don't drag my players into it by default just because you broke the rules, but someone else in the classroom was also breaking the rules, because this is textbook behavior from football fans in general. So as soon as my boys are named, it will be a riot from me. But as of right now, I still see them playing for the national team.
Yeah.
I need to give them the benefit of the doubt. And for me personally, I don't think it would be Barella. Side comment, I'm pretty well versed on Alessandro Bastoni's mentality and what he's capable of. If it's going to be anybody, Enzo, watch out for Alessandro Bastoni,
I
man,
kind
because
of
he's that
agree.
type of guy.
If
Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
anyone, it
So
could
we'll
be
see. We'll
him.
see. In terms of my opinion on it, you said it perfectly, but I'll go that one step further. I have nothing against gambling.
No,
I have
same.
nothing against drinking. I have nothing against narcotics, man. You do whatever you want to do in your life. That's your decision. I don't care who you are and what decisions you make. I live a life of no judgment. But we live in a day and age, mate, where if you like to gamble, you can bet on your prime minister or your president the color of their tie that they're going to wear in their next press conference. You can do that. There are open markets for this around the world. So when Fajoli sends that bullshit text message on WhatsApp to his friend, you don't understand the thrill of gambling until you do it yourself. Motherfangulo, brother, I'm so sorry, but you're not making any sense here. You sound like a kid, a 19-year-old kid who actually doesn't know or can scratch the surface of what a dopamine release actually is in your brain. If you are actually saying that this is the way that you need to get your fix, you've got a problem and you need some serious psychological intervention and some counseling. Because to say that, to go and gamble not only on professional sport as a professional sportsman, your own code, which is football, and for it to hit so close to home as a conflict of interest that it's involved in your own country and potentially the clubs that are involved in your performance, this is stupidity on a child level. And I guess this is where the age really reflects it. Sandro Tonali, he's not an adult. He might be in his early to mid 20, 23, 24 now, maybe. I don't really remember, but maybe he's even younger, but he's young. Zaniolo is young, immature, attitude problem, doesn't make the best decisions for his professional career. We've or seen the unhealthy attachment that he still has. And Nicolo Fagioli is exactly what his birth certificate says, man. He's a 19-year-old kid. And this is
He's
really
older.
childish.
Fajoli is older.
I thought
No,
Fagioli was
no, no,
19.
no, no, no. I think people in the chat let me know he's 22, 23.
Oh,
No,
okay,
he's
that was
not
my bad.
19.
Maybe
Miretti
I've
just
maybe I've
turned
read another
20.
player.
Miretti just turned
Anyway,
20. But Fajoli is not a
yeah.
kid anymore. Like,
Okay, I'll say. Sorry, that my bad. I thought he was 19. I thought I read somewhere that someone was 19. Maybe that was somebody else that got implicated there. But
he's 21.
Miretti is 19. Okay, maybe I got the two cross wired. But that the biggest part that I couldn't understand, man, is like I understand a lot. I understand when Raja Nainggolan would go to the casino at midnight and order himself a double rum and a cigarette. Bro, you're Raja Nainggolan from Indonesia. You go and do whatever you want, brother. You made this life yours. But to go and bet in a way that you know that if you get caught, it's bad. It's horrible. The consequences of your actions by no means justify the risk that you have taken here. And it's a shame because the fans will suffer, the clubs will suffer at the hands of some very, very selfish decisions here.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen to to Tonali, Zaniolo, Fagioli? What do you think? What punishment would fit this, or does it depend on how deep each individual is involved?
Yeah, I need to see if they you cannot bet on your own league, obviously, but if you were betting on your own team, that's even worse. That's crazy, because again, it's leaks. I need to see official reports, so I cannot say Corriere dello Sport said yes because it's all over the place. I expect you should be punished because it's a rule, and even if you're 18 or 19, you got told at the start of the season before, you got told. Period. It's a fact. You can look it up, people. They get told every single year. Preseason, you cannot gamble. Period. Or on your own sport, own team, obviously. But even I don't think you need to get told. I think that's just logical. It's just pure logic, But whatever. No logic. You get told and you decide, you know what? Not only am I gonna do it, I'm gonna do it on an illegal website as well. Wow. That's that level of stupidity you cannot even put into words. It's as simple as that. I don't even know how to find illegal gambling sites. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have no idea. I just go, if I play and I gamble at times, I just go on the well-known, sites, basically, the well-knowns, and I know, okay, it's clean, it's safe, I will get my money if I win, and whatever, no issues. But to do that, it's crazy. To be involved with so many is even worse, because that means maybe I struggle to believe all of them have a gambling issue. Basically, I think it's just oh, you're doing it, why would I do it? And the errors in judgment from these players is crazy, because your career, Tonali, you got that move. You didn't want that move, whatever. But if you got called, if you get punished now, you're not playing at Newcastle. It's not Italy. Newcastle might say, and I know Ivan Brentford say you can still play and he's almost back. Newcastle might say screw this, because they have money and you're playing with your. I just cannot. I sat back when I did my video and was like, let me think about it. I'm in Fagioli's situation, and I thought about 1,000 scenarios, and not in one was I like, you know what? I'm living a good life. Let me screw it up. Let's gamble. Not once did that cross my mind. So I just want to hear from these players as well soon when this is all said and done. Apparently, it will be said and done really soon for Fagioli, which also makes me extremely doubtful that nobody at the club knew. Same for Milan, same for Roma. I found that very strange. Maybe not the top. The management could be, it was in-house. The players knew, maybe a coaching member, and they didn't tell the club, then the club management is in the blue, in the unknown. It's not up to them. If nobody tells them, I find it very unlikely that nobody knows at the club.
Yeah.
For all players involved, I find that players, Bonucci got mentioned. His agent came out saying that's bullshit. Um, I, I think there's still a lot to unpack. The club made a very quick statement saying the moment we learned about it, we called the authorities and we said this is a situation, and we told Fajoli, you need to come up, you need to come forward now.
Mm.
For me, it's the hope that that's exactly true. If it turns out not to be true, again, wouldn't be shocked. In this moment in time, I wouldn't be shocked. Um,
Yeah.
but this is just unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable because first it
Yeah.
came Fajoli, and I was like, and then it unraveled. Tonali, Saniolo, potential other players still not mentioned. And they will come out soon. Um, I It's unbelievable. Like, when you think about it, you're like, wow, um, why? Like, and
Yeah.
for us, it's worse because he plays for us. Like, for Milan, Tonali's not part of it anymore. Like, from the squad. Same for Roma. But for us, it's close to home because you know what, he is in the squad. And now he's done. And I feel sorry for Allegri at this moment in time. I'm not his biggest fan, but like the shit he has to deal with, points deduction, not on him. Pogba, not on him. Fagioli, not on him. I'm feeling sorry for him because that's a terrible environment to run a club in. Like, it is, because
Yeah.
you turn up in training post international break twice and you lose two midfielders. Like, and not because of injuries, because of
Yep.
the most random stuff out there. So I do feel sorry
Yep.
for him in that regard, because if he's short of players, I feel sorry for him because that's not on him. Now the club has no option, and they need to buy players in January because there is absolutely no option now. And that's
Yep.
also striking fear into my bones because we don't have a lot of money, and I feel like they're gonna
Yep.
panic buy, which we can miss.
Yep.
Um,
The thing is, like, what I wanted to point out though is that they are youngsters, and they will be able to recover their careers, but it's tough in this day and age because time is just of the essence. You miss 6 months, you miss 10 months. It's almost like you've got 3 years to catch up, unless you
yeah,
hit the ground running straight away. Um, there's regulated gambling is everywhere. So I really share your position on, just why the illegal side of things. Why can't you just pull up Bet365? Why can't you go to one of the many casinos? You literally can't turn your head left and right in the world these days without being smacked in the face with some sort of gambling. It's a culture that's inbuilt into the world from a young age now. Don't look me in the eye and tell me that packing FIFA players and paying money for coins on video games is not gambling. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up putting my own money into video games and sitting there waiting for a card to flip over. This is glorified gambling to the younger generations, and it's going to get worse. So I know that's a little bit of a side comment in general, but I just felt like it was all interlinked in a way, and it's just sad. And it's sad that it's happening in Italy, in Serie A, once again, in a time where, yeah, we really need another scandal, don't we? We really need another bad headline.
yeah. Somebody said Tonali and Zaniolo got cleared according to Sky. I've not seen that. I think that's extremely unlikely when you saw the reports that they are extremely involved as well. So I didn't see the reports. But before we wrap it up, because I know it's extremely early and you probably need to go to work.
That's all right. Not important.
Let's look ahead to this week, because I think you play Torino away from home, right?
Yeah, we play Torino on Saturday. I haven't made a decision of if I'm going to watch it yet because I'm actually
Oh,
going away with a lot of friends for my, I don't know what you guys call it, the bachelor
oh yeah, I
party,
bet you
stag
probably.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm going away into like the countryside for a few nights just to get some rest and relaxation and everything else. So I haven't made a decision of whether I'm going to allow Inter to ruin my entire weekend by watching the game.
no,
But yes, we do travel to Torino, hopefully to get a similar result to you guys did. I know even Juric's team is disappointing so
yeah,
far this season. They tend to play compact well during periods of time, but very much void of attacking direction. I was on Serie A sit down last week with Richard Carmen, and I asked him, like, why isn't Sanabria getting any minutes? Because he was one of the players that I was excited about in this Torino side. I know he hasn't been at 100% fitness, but they're lacking goals, and they're lacking a second piece in Sanabria there to help out Duvan Zapata and to just do a little bit more off the ball and just be a little bit more agile because they're flat when they get up front. I know defensively they're not shocking, but I know at defending set pieces they are.
Yeah.
So what can you give me? What sort of advice can you give about Torino? It's our first time facing them this season.
Going forward, they offer nothing. Like
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. It's kind of weird to see them play because they have good players. They have a good squad, but they offer nothing against us, and we. It's not that we offered a lot, Beside those set pieces, they are vulnerable on set pieces. Milinkovic Savic is not a good goalkeeper, and I'm being very
No,
nice here. He's not good. Um,
it's not
I
good.
I think you're just gonna walk that game. I think you're gonna walk that game. They're not good. They're absolutely not good. Um, I know what you're saying. Like they play compact at times, but if you break them open once, it's I don't like. They want to attack, and they did that. But when I was at a party, so I was watching the game, but not one moment in time in throughout those 90 minutes, I was like, they're gonna score. Like they had nothing. Like Chesney could have just stayed on the bench. It was that poor going forward. Um, I don't think defensively that they're that great. We didn't test them, excuse me. But that's our issue. That's not saying Torino are good at the back because I don't think they are that good. I think you're just gonna walk with the form Lautaro is in. I think you're just gonna walk because you need that result.
Yeah,
Obviously,
we do.
also going into the Champions League. Not sure who you play on the week midweek.
We
Um,
play RB Salzburg.
at home.
We just beat Benfica at home, so
Okay, so it's probably
no.
gonna be away.
Oh, but the Champions League is weird this time around, man. Like really, really weird. I'm telling you right now, I think we might actually be backing up this game at home. I'm gonna check for you in a second.
I think you need that result going into in that Champions League. Salzburg are not that fantastic,
We're at
and
home.
you're
We're at the Miata. So I think that we'll win in the Champions League because Inzaghi knows after beating Benfica and Benfica dropping points on the first day, we're probably 3 points away from penciling into the
yeah.
round of 16. So that's going to be a high priority game. So this Torino and RB Salzburg back to back results are very, very important to us.
Yeah, I think that will boost your confidence in pushing ahead, because there will be an international break again very soon, I think in November, in a month
Yeah,
time, there will be, it's terrible,
they,
but
they have
I'm
yeah, they
fearful.
have to finish. They have to finish the bloody Euro qualifiers, man.
I,
So yeah,
yeah,
it's I'm pretty sure midway through November or end of November we're going away again.
yeah, I hate international breaks. I hate it even more because I'm expecting some terrible news again. Um, But I think you're just gonna win against Torino. I think it's gonna be very box standard. You're just gonna get in, get out, and get 3 points and move on. Because I think you,
They've
I
got
think you usually.
two former Inter players occupying each flank. I will be really pissed off if something detrimental happens to us
He
on either
wasn't
side.
good,
With
Bellanova.
Valentino Lazzaro and Bellanova, I think the latter is a little bit more threatening than the former, but still, they're both average. So
Yeah,
Inter need to do the business, please.
yeah, they're not that good players, but I think you just handle the business. I'm pretty sure about that. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna gamble and I'm gonna pick Inter because I already wrote it down.
Nice.
I have
Who
them
do you
winning.
who do you guys have?
We have Milan away from home on Sunday evening.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
a
How
big
did I
game.
forget?
Yeah.
You got some injuries as well. I heard you say on your channel yesterday asking questions like, I don't understand. What's up? What is this new I feel something in my leg? If there's no
Oh,
test to
that's
back it up or if there's no science that reflects it, what's going on?
that's a classic at our club. Even last season, scans show
You
nothing, but the
feel
player is
something.
injured. Nobody knows. Um, I cannot explain. Like the club can even the test cannot explain. So I don't know what it is. Like last season, we had so many times, no injuries, but he's injured. Okay, what is it? Like that's very strange. It's worrying as well because you don't know what it is, but the player is saying I'm hurt. So it's an issue. Chiesa won't be there. It's unlikely that Vlahovic is going to make it from the start. Danilo is out as well. I don't think that's that big of a loss. I know people in the chat will be like, "Oh, we're going to miss Danilo." I think the drop off from Danilo to Rugani is not that extreme compared to the drop off from Chiesa to Keane to that extent. So um, Milan are missing Magnon and Theo because they got suspended with the yellow cards. Um,
Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared because I know how we're gonna approach that game, and it's gonna look ugly. We're gonna approach that game like we did it last season. We got slapped, or the season before, and we're gonna approach it like we did against Atalanta, and we should have lost that game. We will go out there playing not to lose, and we will lose by default because you cannot go to Milan because there's no there's no there's no confidence in me. Like nothing from the previous games showed me that we're gonna go away to Milan and we're gonna beat Milan. We should beat Milan, or like we should start beating those teams away from home. But there's no proof in the putting. There's no I can take that game or I can take that result because we played first game extremely well. First half against Udinese, done 3-0. At home against Bologna, poor, extremely poor. Lazio, very good. Sassuolo,
Mm.
extremely bad. Lecce, embarrassing. We won. We created nothing. Atalanta, we created nothing. Torino, people like we won. I'll take the win, but we created nothing. We had two set pieces, and it's an issue. And people tell you, "Oh, but set pieces are goals." I've never questioned them not to be goals. But if that's your main outlet, your main threat in 3 games, it's an issue when you're playing Torino, Atalanta, and Lecce. It's a big issue. This attacking, whatever you want to call it, stands and falls with Chiesa, and Chiesa having a brilliant game. Otherwise, the decisions he makes, personnel-wise, is very, I don't. It's very safe. Kostic, you know what you're gonna get. Chiesa's not there. Instead of what, I'm gonna play Ealing Junior. I need something. I need something different on the ball in possession. He's refusing to do that, and you will have people argue he's getting the results. Okay, fine. It's not sustainable. I will tell you that for free. And I don't think if you go with that mindset at Milan, you're gonna get away with anything other than
Mm.
the disappointing result because
Yeah.
we need to win. People still believe in the title. I don't believe. I don't think we're good enough. I think this team has quality enough, and now it might sound weird with Fagioli and Pogba being away, but the team has quality enough to play a better style of football and to compete. Maybe not win, but keep it respectable until the end of the season. You know, we're not looking like that team. If we lose against Milan, I think it's already 5 points now or four. It will be seven. It's impossible for this team to make up for it. There's absolutely no chance. So it's a big game for us, obviously for Milan as well. But I think the pressure is on us because we need to start to get these results away from home, and we're not doing it ever since Allegri returned. So big pressure for him.
Yeah. The pressure is definitely on you guys because Milan, after grinding out their win last week, now know that no Teo, no Magnan. If worst comes to absolute worst, we lose to Juventus and we're -1 at the very worst because Inter still need to go and win
Yeah.
in Torino. So Milan have gotten themselves into a position now by match day 9 where 3 dropped points is not a disaster. It can literally be bounced off the chest and recovered. And that's a nice luxury for them to have. And I guess the pressure is on you guys then for that. Milan, just this season, they strike me again as a side that's going to know how to grind out majority of games. And it's still perplexing to me because I still look at their team man for man and their depth and I go, how? Like,
Coaching.
please, can someone explain to me how Pioli is still extracting so much out of the gang? Because he's doing a great job, and I don't care. I know a lot of the fans get on Pioli's back because he didn't have the pedigree before he came there. But who's going to argue against his pedigree now, contextual to his timeline at Milan? I'm not ready to sit here and go, oh, he's Pioli. He had an average career, slightly good at Lazio, came to Inter, bombed. He's not the fearless leader that people want him to be. I'm like, bro, I'm just working with the statistics that I've got. And Pioli has done a great job. He still seems to be doing a great job. Yep. And I dare say if you removed him from this project, that's when you'd really start to see Milan suffer on the pitch. Yeah. So I hate giving them credit, to be honest. Sometimes it's even easier for me to give your guys credit than it is for me to give them because it's just uncomfortable to speak about them doing well. But you know, they got slapped by us, man. Like, I've never seen us win a derby the way we won
brutal.
Yeah. I thought after that game, I go, this could be a game that sinks Milan this season. Polar opposite. They literally got the monkey off their back next day and they've gone on with it, and they're still going on with it. It would not surprise me at all to see you guys win 1-0. It would
No.
not surprise me at all to see them win 1-0. It would not surprise me at all to see this end 0-0. And I'm hoping for the third one. A 0-0 would be nice.
Yeah, I think Allegri would agree with you. He will take it any day.
Yeah.
0-0. That's you can hide. You can say don't play for a draw. The eye test tells us you did at Atalanta. Like you absolutely did. Even when the players come out saying, it's a good point. We realized nothing was there to get, so take a point. I'm like, oh boy. Like, is Atalanta play away? This is not Inter at the San Siro away where you're like, minute 70, you know what? This is not our day. Just close up shop. We go home with a point. All good, and I can live with that, Away to Napoli, away to Milan, not our day. Take a point home and whatever. Move on. Not against Atalanta. I'm not, like,
No.
I'm sorry, Atalanta, respect for what they're doing, but I'm not going to accept that as a Juve fan ever. I will never do that.
I agree.
So,
I agree. And at the start of the season, after I think the third match day, the Milan game or the Fiorentina game, I remember saying on my channel, at the very least this season, I don't want to hear the word Atalanta. I don't want to hear the word Roma. I don't want to hear the word Lazio. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be in a conversation with these clubs this season. If at the very least this season, I know match day 32, 33, we are +9 on 5th. The Champions League spots have been wrapped up for next season, and we're in a shootout for the Scudetto. I can forgive the end result. I can be heartbroken, but I can forgive. What I can't forgive is another match day 36, 37, 38, where we're going down to the wire and we're like, are we going to qualify for the Champions League next season? I mean, I'm pretty sure we've got a final against Manchester City in a fortnight, but we really need these points against Atalanta in Bergamo, don't we? Far out.
That was great. Yeah. That was.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, I think we were at home match day 37 last season. Yeah, we were, because a couple of friends went, but still, it was traumatizing to me that I couldn't enjoy the build up to the Champions League final, knowing too well we might not have even been in the group stage the next season.
If you won it, you would have been in.
Well, yeah. Then it was tossing up. All right, well, what's easier now? Do you go and beat Man City, or do you just get your points?
Yeah.
All sort of ended well.
I agree. Same for me. I don't want to be in a dogfight. Like, it should be wrapped up very early that we'd be in the top four. When I look at Lazio, Roma, Atalanta, Fiorentina, credit to what they're doing. Fiorentina, I watched them live play over here, like at my home team. We should have won. Like, my home team should have won. They were the better team on the day. Like, they were the better team. They offered nothing. Fiorentina, they got two stupid goals from corners, whatever. They offered nothing. Whatever. They're doing well, but I don't expect them to keep it up. I'm expecting us to get into the top four without any issues. Like you said, not match day 36-5, and I'm still need to be like, we still need 4 points, and we need a draw. Not having that this season. But we'll wrap it up. It's an hour. I lost track of time, to be honest.
Always goes quick when we talk, man.
Yeah, like, it's been a while since I did a live with two. So, everybody in the chat, thanks for joining. Like, subscribe. Not sure what's gonna happen tomorrow on the channel, because Julian is extremely busy as well. So, if I'm gonna record a podcast, there will be no live. Otherwise, I will be live, and there will be no podcast on Wednesday. Thank you, Anthony, for taking time very early in the morning for you to come on. Maybe next international break, I will jump on your channel. We can switch it around.
I think. Yeah, great, man.
Who knows what happens between now and then, on and off the pitch. But thanks for joining, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining as well. Like if you haven't, subscribe. Also, if you haven't checked out Anthony's channel, you can click the title. It's clickable. Even if you're not an Inter fan, subscribe, go watch, because if you like my content, you're most definitely gonna like Anthony's content. It was kind of similar in the way we do stuff. So do that, and thanks for watching, and see you guys tomorrow.